Hey little hoes, my name is Kristen and welcome back to my channel. So today's topic is my top 5 most forgettable plants. And that's not because they're boring or uninteresting in any particular way, but just because they are so easy and so carefree that I really don't have to remember to do much to keep them going. In fact, I often neglect these quite a bit. The most I've ever had to do was with my first here, which is my Marimo moss balls. And these guys, you will remember in my planty chores video, I washed them out. I rinsed down the sides of the container because there was some algae, washed them, and put it all back in just regular old water. And I've had these guys for probably going on 4 years now. At first, I was probably changing the water every couple weeks, but now it's every couple months at best between the washings. And they do great. They've had their ups and downs, but overall, they're really quite tough and not a lot of care needed. I think your main thing is finding the perfect lighting for them, making sure it's not so bright that it cooks them or too dark that, they just sort of turn mush. Second is the little devil's backbone, and I think it's Pediolanthus, this little dwarf one. And look at how cool those layered leaves are and what the stems look like after the leaves have fallen off. It's almost like it's been braided here. Care is extremely minimal. It hasn't grown much since I got it maybe like 3 years ago. It's a very, very slow grower, but it also really doesn't require a whole lot. I just make sure to give it water maybe every couple of weeks, clean out any dead leaves as they fall, which normally happens as it puts off some new growth. But yeah, super easy care on this. I think my main thing is keeping it in full sun. It seems to appreciate that quite a bit. Next is my Haworthia bowl. I probably did this a good 4 years ago or so. And there's a couple different species in there that I forget at the moment. I will try and include that later. There is a spider, I think, potentially still hanging out in here from when I had these guys outside for the summer. And again, very little care. I do probably water these guys a little bit more in the summer. It's pretty pot bound, I'm thinking, in here. And you can definitely tell when it starts to get a little bit more stressed for water in the summer. In winter, maybe every couple of weeks, I'll give it a nice little drink. And I really do love this arrangement. I don't normally go for bowls that are big and wide like this, but I think this worked out nicely. God, I keep getting freaked out because there's like old spider moltings on there, and I keep thinking it's a live one, but it's not, thank God. So, my little Haworthia arrangement. God, I need to clean this plant. And this one, my fourth, is the Milky Way aspidistra or cast iron plant that I got, was it last year? It might have been last year. I got this either beginning of this year or last year. I can't quite remember. But he's growing a little bit straggly just because I have him in such a dark corner in the living room. He does fine in there. He hasn't had any real issues other than getting super dusty, which I just cleaned him off There's a ton of cat hair on him. But he tolerates the low light really well, and I would say sort of like a snake plant, they do better in more sunlight, obviously. You'll probably get bigger leaves and more vibrant spotting, but he tolerates it like a champ. And for care, I think I've maybe watered him like every other week, very sparingly. For all of these, I maybe fertilize monthly with fish fertilizer. I am super happy with this plant, and I appreciate just how cast iron it is. My fifth one is pretty humongous. I have to move over for it. This is my giant Firestix Euphorbia, and I got this from Walmart a few years ago and put it in this basket, this just fake wicker basket that I found on the side of the street, and it is literally not put up a fuss. I think there was a little bit of a transition period getting to know it and its water needs. I think at one point when it was still kind of young, I almost rotted it out, but thankfully didn't. I think I'm a little disappointed by the fact that it doesn't really have super intense coloration all the time that, you might see online. If you have it in very intense sunlight or, planted outside where it's warm enough for it, it will get that vibrant orange reddish coloration to it, especially probably in the drier seasons. But I like it even just in its natural green state here. It does maybe blush a little orange in summer if I, make sure it's right against the window there. So those are my top 5 most forgettable plants. And again, that's not to say that I don't like them or there's anything wrong with them. It's just nice because I don't have to worry about them, and I'm dealing with bugs and fungal issues and various things on other plants, but these guys never skip a beat. They never cause me any worry. They are the good kids of the group. Anyway, I would love to know what your guys' top 5 forgettable plants are and why. And as always, stay safe, healthy, and sane. I will talk to y'all soon. Goodbye.